Hey everybody, Big Lou 52 here again, and I'm up to over 60 subscribers, and it's hard for me to believe that there's that many people in the world bored enough to want to watch my content. But hey, so we're going to do something else. Today we're going to put some new brakes on my 2012 GMC Acadia. I am no mechanic, so I can't tell you precisely what the parts names and stuff like that are, but I can show you how to do it. So if you don't know how to do it, maybe save you a little bit of money in the long run. If you're not comfortable doing it, of course, take somebody who knows what they're doing. But like I said, this is a 2012 GMC Acadia, and we're going to start on this tire right here. The first thing you got to do when you're doing the brake job is, of course, take off the wheel. First thing you got to do is get to the lug nuts. Take your little screwdriver, pop that bad boy off right there, and there's your lug nuts. When you're loosening your lug nuts, you want to make sure the wheel is still making contact with the ground. If it's not, it'll just spin on you. There we go. All right, once you get them where you can just take them off with your finger, just spin them off. Sometimes it seems like they're extra long threaded here. Try to do stuff with my left hand. That's where I think us making videos on YouTube is going to end up evolving us into one-handed creatures. One hand's going to have a camera completely mounted to it, and the other hand will be free to do stuff for YouTube. Now, I never take this top one off. I always get the tire off the ground first. All you really need is a couple inches of space to get that tire to remove. So you take your last nut off, grab your tire, and just pull it off and roll it to the side. Somewhere out of the way. And then this is what you're looking at. This is the rotor. This is the caliper. This is what squeezes your brakes on both sides of the rotor to stop you. These are your brake pads. On the back, you have this bolt here and this bolt down here. These two bolts need to come out. Once you finally get these two son of guns loose, because I am not going to lie to you, they were tight. Pull them out. Same with the bottom. And it goes without saying, put them somewhere you'll know where they're at. You don't want to lose them. At this point, you should be able to take a caliper right off and set it up aside somewhere out of the way. So now you just take your old brake pads out. Sometimes they can be a little non-responsive with you. Just pry them out. They're old anyway, right? Once you get your brake pads out, as they are now, you have two bolts here and here to take this bracket off. I got to take this bracket off to take this rotor off. Now, I'm not going to lie to you guys. Them son of a guns were on there. With a little bit of persuasion, we convinced them to let go. So the next part, take the bracket off. Sorry. Try to keep you guys in focus while I'm doing this. Right there with the other. And the bottom is tightened up a little bit again. But we're making headway. There we go. There she goes. Got my other screws there. And here comes the bracket. Right there. These little boots and these little screws here. Take these boots off. Pull these screws out. Well, not screws, I should say. I can't tell you guys what the names of them are, but they're supposed to be grease on them. And as you can see, as I'm pulling this one out, my hands are getting dirty, but the grease on this is no bueno. You need to swap this grease out because I don't know what it does, but I've watched other guys on YouTube who are actual professionals. I think it's Ray's Auto Repair now. He's real good at this. He does a lot of brake work. He's the one I watch to do brakes. He says it's something that needs to be done. New grease needs to be put on there. So if he says it needs to be on there, I trust his word. He seems to be pretty honest about stuff. Actually owns his own shop now. I'm proud of him. Happy for him. All right. So now your caliper's off. You got shims here and here that'll be replaced. At this point, once this is somewhere where it won't fall, you get to beat the piss out of this thing to get it off too. Or what's even better, before you start beating it up, you can tell if there's a screw there that needs to come out first. So after all the work's done, little man's decided to show up and help out. So once you get this screw loose, as you can see, rotor just is heavy and it slides right off. This is my caliper tool. This is my caliper. And what this caliper tool does is it pushes these pistons back into the caliper as you give it a little bit of elbow grease. It squeezes, as you can see, the pistons are squeezing back in to their home. And the reason you have to do this is because here in a second, you're going to see how much thicker new brake pads are compared to the ones that are worn out. So you just get this son of a gun right here, completely spread out in a nice even push. That should do it. You do this to loosen it back up, and the tool will come right out, and your pistons are now pushed back into the caliper. All right, guys, this is the new rotor that's going on. How to put these on? It's pretty simple. You want to line the screw up, this hole, right? This thing's heavy. This hole right here with what's on your hub. So let's put it in right here, just like so. Okay, let it hang. It's fine. It'll be all right. Try not to block y'all's view or anything here. And just screw the screw in. Now a lot of people say they don't put the screw back in. The only reason I do it, honestly, is because it's what is done at the factory. So I just kind of mimic what they do. I like to think they're probably a lot smarter than I am when it comes to engineering and such. But I don't want to over tighten it. I just want to give it a good little snug.
Not like robot tight it.
Well, everything else was. I tell you what, everything else on this thing was tight as crap. Right, here's your pins. It looks like just a little wipe off would probably work good enough. Now, like I said, I've never done this before until I saw the guy on YouTube. I believe, like I said, I think it's Rayman or Rainman Ray's. I watch a lot of his videos, and he said it was important to do. And dude's a mechanic. He owns his own shop, and so I figure.
Oh, that dude?
Yeah, you know who I'm talking about. You know I watch him often. He sprays a whole lot of brake cleaner. So now it seems a little different. These little screws, they're a little different from each other. They're the same length. They seem to be the same width. I believe this is the one that came out of the top. All right, as you can see, we've got that back on, and now we've got to put the brake pad in. That's pretty simple. We've got these springs here that go in front, and that's what causes the brake pad to disengage a little bit like we did earlier when we saw the old brake pads. This one, there we go. And we finally got it back in. So you can see they're installed. Next part will be to get your bolts from earlier and to get your caliper in place. Like so. Watch that. Don't ever let this thing get tangled up or twist or anything like I just did. And this should slide right over into place because we've compressed it as much as we could. Once you get one in, run the screw into here.
Knees wobbling.
My knees wobbling?
Yeah.
That's probably because I'm moving around to do this. Okay. Get this started.
Do you see like this?
Yeah, I can see fine. And you take the back side, get it lined up. There we go. And now you're back to everything the way it was. The only difference is it's brand new. All right, guys, and this is basically the finished product other than putting the tire on. I'm not going to bore you guys with putting a tire on because you saw me take it off. Just do it in reverse. And that's how I do a brake job. I'm not going to say that's the right way to do it, but we'll find out here in a little bit when I start going around the neighborhood if I did it right or if I did it wrong. So with that being said, Big Lou 52 here in Little Man. Our next video, we just picked up SKS from a good friend of mine on Outdoors Trader. We're going to go to the range with that. I'm going to let Little Man shoot a few rounds through it, and I'm going to shoot a few rounds through it. I'm excited to have it. It's a fully stock, all numbers matching SKS. And we'll take you guys out and let you check that one out at the range. But until then, YouTube, you guys have a good one. If you're comfortable doing this kind of stuff, do it. It'll save you money in the long run. If you're not comfortable, if you don't have the tools, by all means, there's no shame in letting a professional do it as well. Peace out. Take care. It is heavy and it slides right off. There goes the caliper.
And then that happens.
But oh, there she goes.
You're stopping that like that was bad.
I stopped because it surprised me. I wasn't expecting it to do that.